Greetings again, everybody. Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Last two times we basically only did tutorials and we also just talked to people. Now we're gonna actually explore the first gameplay area. We technically had the option to actually go someplace else first, and it would be a perfectly viable choice to do so, but yeah, I think this is how the game expects you to progress, and so I'm gonna do that for the sake of the LP. Also, I believe it to be easier, or at least a more interesting introduction. And yeah, I actually did level up. I used the souls we actually had and also used soul pickups, like souls of fallen soldier, whatever they're called. There's several different kinds of them and they give you increasingly more souls. Generally, it's best to not use them until you actually, need them. But yeah, I used those to level up my strength and get the shield. So now I can use my mace one-handed and also block attacks. This should come in handy. What we just went through is just supposed to give us the illusion that we traveled really far, because in this game, opposed to the first one, we're supposed to travel across an entire continent rather than, one mountain. And the game succeeds at doing so. Sadly though, this means that the interconnected areas are gone now. And yeah, you can destroy wooden chests. And you should never do that if you haven't looted them yet, because if you do so, they will not give you the item it would normally give you. Instead, all you will get is rubbish, and that's basically a useless item used to clutter up the inventory.
Do you see the way beyond the bonfire? That will take you to the forest of the giants. There was once a great fort, but little of it remains. You may just find something there that will be of use on your journey. But don't venture too far inside, or you might not come back.
That wasn't the game, by the way. That was just me editing in dialogue that Soldan would give us if we talked to him. Now, of course it did talk to him, I just decided to cut it in here. But yeah, Forest of the Fallen Giants. This first section in particular is not really that difficult, it just pits us against these normal hollows. But we can get a few items that are kind of hidden. Like right at the beginning I turned around and I got a Soul of a Lost Undead, which is one kind of the soul pickups I used to get the extra souls I needed to upgrade both my strength and get the money I need to buy the shield. Money I say, I mean souls of course, because souls are currency for everything. So I guess they're technically money. But yeah, that bonfire we just lit actually appears in the comic book that you would get for pre-ordering the game. Sadly, it was not a pre-order bonus for the console version, so I don't have it, because I only bought the PC version later. But that bonfire, yeah, apparently appears. And it's apparently lit by Soldan, the Crestfallen Warrior, which is probably why it's called the Crestfallen's Retreat. But right now, since I haven't read it yet, don't quote me on that, of course. So, after dealing with that guy, there's one more hidden treasure to find. It's kind of well hidden, not really out of the way. In fact, it's right down there, and we can see it from here. But yeah, exploration this game is definitely encouraged. By the way, yeah, hit corpses if they don't have glowy items, because they might just stand up and kill you. But yeah, exploration definitely encouraged. I've heard people say that Souls games in general discourage exploration, but I don't really know where that's coming from, because while we didn't get anything special from there, later on we will get unique weapons, spells and armor pieces from, just exploring. And yeah, first thing we notice up here is that fellow in white by the tree. But before we check him out, I think we should actually clear the area. And this isn't something that happens a lot, but I was kind of, sort of, able to actually stealth around them. Normally they notice you right away, so don't expect this to happen if you play the game. So this is the last guy down here, but up there on the upper floor is actually an archer. he can't hit us from where we're standing right now, but if we were to get close to the white guy, he would be able to hit us, so I think it's the most sensible thing to kill the archer first. So right there you saw me get hit a bunch of times, which wasn't really necessary. It's just that I'm not yet used to the recovery animation of the mace. It takes a little longer than what I'm, normally used to. The weapons I usually use, I could swear at least, are a little faster in that regard. But then again, it might be my own incompetence, or it might also have to do with agility, which is a stat that affects the speed of certain actions. It's kind of unclear what it exactly does. What we do know for a fact is that it increases the number of invincibility frames for our dodge roll, and it increases the speed in which we drink our Estus. But yeah, I could swear that it also might affect how quickly you can cancel out of recovery animations. That short sword we just picked up, by the way, is a really good weapon early on because it's very versatile. It combines thrusts and slash attacks. There aren't very many straight swords that actually do that. In the first game, the longsword did it as well, but not so in this game. Great sword type weapons later on will do that though, some of them at least, which is part of the reason why I really love great swords. And yeah, down there you can see that item. This jump is kind of hard to do, but you can make it. A lot of the time it will seem like you did it just right, but in the end, well, yeah, you might just drop down. But it's worth it because we get a couple free throwing knives, and throwing weapons in this game are actually useful all throughout the game, instead of just marginally useful early on. So be sure to get that. It will give you a little bit of a ranged attack if you don't have one already. Now that we took out the actual last guy of the area, let's pick up those items and then handle that guy. Now, I'm gonna spoil it right here, but we can't actually talk to him. We can lock onto him though, which means that we can attack him, and yeah, don't try to get in too many hits because he will turn around really quickly and actually get you. He's moderately easy to backstab though, so be sure to go for that. If you want, go for the dagger. And we actually get enough throwing knives to take him out. We get 10 from that jump, and I think we get about 10 to take him out too. So yeah, this was a Hate Knight, and you get the Hate Knight sword. On New Game Plus, he can also drop his armor. And I'll be sure to get it because it looks rather sweet. And yeah, the only reason to attack him is to be a massive dick to him, because he would not ever attack us ever, under any other circumstances. He won't even attack us if we attack him first, then die to him or to any other enemy and then return here. He will sit there and wait for us to attack him again. So Hate Knights kind of take the place of the Black Knights from the first game, only they are far less hostile. So those enemies in there, there's a smart way to deal with them, which is going around, and then there's that. You will probably get hit if you do it like that, unless you can take them out very quickly with like one hit, which I'm not able to, obviously. It's far better to come in from the other side and draw them out, perhaps even bottleneck them in the door frame there. It's gonna help a lot. And yep, hidden item, but just a few bolts. We don't even have a crossbow yet. So up ahead is our first Royal Knight. He's an enemy type that we will see with various different types of weapons over the course of this area. His armor, I think, looks rather sweet. Well, not in the state it was in when he was wearing it right now, but we can actually also get a sweet shiny new Royal Armor set. We can buy that from Molden. If we buy some other stuff from him and basically drive his quest. And that guy up there is a dick. There was also an archer on top of the stairs, and by hiding around the corner we basically caused him to, just step to the side. Kind of a stupid AI, so he thought he could probably hit us from there or something, but naturally he isn't. To give him credit though, he was clever enough to switch to a melee weapon. And, oh yeah, if you don't have any ranged attack, it's best to just rush up ahead so that firebomb throwing guy can't hit you. he will also switch to melee weapons if you get closer. And look at that, I parried that guy. So, once we time a parry just right, the enemy will fall to his butt, and once he's down, we can actually attack one more time to get the riposte. And that's that. I kind of bad at parrying, but I will try to get better at it for this LP. I just normally play rather dodge-heavy characters with, two-handed weapons or even dual wielding ever since Dark Souls 2 came out. Because actually now we can also parry with a lot of the weapons if we two-hand them. Now, before we call it a day, I do want to explore the area that's behind us right now, but first, in here is a bonfire. So naturally, it's the best idea to go in here first. But before we activate the bonfire, let's go up here, because there's something quite a few people might not be aware of. This door right now is locked, so we can't open it, at least not without, destroying it. It's a pretty good way to get some items early. Nothing too special right here in this room, but in that wooden chest there actually is something nice. It's a small leather shield. It has 90% physical reductions and very low stat requirements, so it's a shield every build can use, and it may be one of the best shields for quite a few minimum strength or dexterity builds to use, so it might be just what you're looking for. But here is what you will actually want to come here for. An Estus shard and a small sign soapstone. We can put it down, and other players in their games will see a small summon sign. If they summon us using that, we will enter their world, and, our job is just to kill a few enemies. Once that's done, we get a smooth and silky stone, and also our human form back in case we died.
Buy something, anything. Oh, come now, help an old woman and buy something.
This lovely lady here is Melenja, and she will sell us quite a few nice items. She'll sell us cestices in case you want to go punchy fist, and Leningrad's key. I guess now we know who ran off with it. Wise idea to get fire bombs too, by the way. That thing that costs 4,000 souls is a Pharaoh's Lockstone. We'll be getting that later, because it will be useful.
My name is Melenja. You're a stranger to this land. Oh, we get as strangers these days. Everybody's gone and run off. Dranglake's been a pile of rubble since the war fought long, long ago. And the giants crossed the sea. Seemed like the battles would never end. Poor folk like myself have nary a place to sleep. That's why I keep all me things right with me. You may travel light, but methinks you bear a burden of your own. They say these trees grew from the remains of the giants. From each carcass sprouted new life growing into what you see now. But you know what they also say? Don't believe what an old hag says. It's high time that I pick up a move. I've a bargain for you next time we meet, my love. Thank you kindly.
And now let's finally light that bonfire. This is the last time we will see this room dark. It's now lit up forever, and it looks better in my opinion. Now there is that part that's kind of optional, but we're gonna do it right now because it has a rather nice reward. We're probably not gonna use it, but there's a weapon down here which quite a few of you might enjoy. And that over there is actually an endgame area. We're not gonna be there for a while. We're just gonna focus on the parts we can explore right now, of course. For obvious reasons. This is not the only optional area in the Forest of Fallen Giants, by the way. There are 2 more areas of roughly the same size, and there's no reason to ever go there, at least not for the main gameplay progression. There is some treasure there after all. And that holds our way back, by the way. This game makes us jump around a lot more than the first game. And all we get is a human effigy. Now don't get me wrong, human effigies are great. If we die, we will be hollowed and lose part of our health. And if we use a human effigy, we can revert that and be at full power again. But personally, I like to save my human effigies for no reason whatsoever. Instead of using them, I do co-op. I get summoned with a small sign soapstone, quickly kill a few dudes, and then I'm human again. Of course, you will also revert back to human form if you use a regular white sign soapstone, which basically means you have to defeat a boss instead of a couple regular enemies. No, right now for us, going down there shouldn't be too much of a problem for us. But if you are in the Champions Covenant, which is the make the game harder covenant, those guys will aggro from a larger distance. And you might just have to fight them all at the same time. And this kind of sucks. Happened to me first time around. But yeah, since that's not the case, it's really rather easy. It's just a thing that can trip up new players because I didn't actually know what exactly that covenant would do, and it actually made things much more difficult. Aside from, you know, having to hit them more times, they also aggro from a larger range. And this is the last guy down here, and probably just noticed some audio desync. This isn't me. This is a problem with the game running off a Blu-ray. The PS3 sometimes has loading problems. Those problems, they don't happen if you install it on X360 on the PC or if you use the digital copy for the PS3 version. Now, let's actually get what we came here for. It's right in that cave with the charred people and the fire and oh god. Yeah. But be aware that if you go in here, those guys will drop down out here. That's why I was looking up there. I was hoping to, you know, see them. That other guy should be around though. Normally it's 2. Yeah, there he is. He didn't drop down properly. Yeah, I was looking up because you can actually spot them ahead of time and attack them with ranged weapons. But I didn't know where exactly to look, so I didn't really manage. So yeah, now let's get that done. That fire clues us in that, well, there's something that uses fire. It's that thing. Not gonna get a good look at it now, but our goal is basically get through this door here. And we got kind of lucky because normally you're not invincible when you're opening doors. But yes, this is what we actually came for. It is the Fire Longsword. It's a rather great weapon. Especially if you're just starting out, it's something you might definitely want to consider. It's already infused with fire, so you can actually, you know, deal fire damage in addition to the physical you already deal normally. It splits the damage up, so it does less physical and a little bit more fire. It's kind of a trade-off. So the attacks you do will now be affected by 2 resistances of the enemies. One nice thing about fire damage though is that it is affected by both intelligence and faith. It's a little bit of a bonus for people who cast spells. And yeah, I believe that it is the average of intelligence and faith. So yeah, now that we're up this ladder, we can go back through that hole, back into familiar territory, right by that first royal soldier we fought earlier. And of course not parry him properly. So now we're basically done for now. But first actually, let's buy something from Melenja. We could have gotten it earlier, but it didn't have any souls left. It's the Pharaoh's Lockstone, costs 4,000 souls. And we'll be seeing how that's useful to us in the next video. Because for now, we're just gonna call it a day. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you again next time. when we finally meet our first boss.